taking time to see how great we are and how much progress we've done and how much we've moved. So I think that's a very important thing to increase.
Este es el podcast de Marcos Domínguez, candidato a doctor en Economía del Desarrollo y vocero de la salud. En este espacio te comparto conocimiento, herramientas prácticas y experiencias para impulsarte a mejorar tu bienestar basado en la ciencia y la inspiración que viene de nuestro mundo interior.
This is our first English episode. I'm very happy to start this early in the year because I think it's good to start the year with challenges, and that motivates me to continue in this project. And on this occasion, we have this topic about 6 steps to have success in life through a healthier inner world. And for that, we have Dr. Anna Pavlina Charalambous. I hope I said that correctly. She's all the way talking from Cyprus. Yeah, excellent. From Cyprus. I'm in the Netherlands, so it's great to have this setting to communicate in the distance. So welcome, Pavlina.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being here. I will start explaining you a bit about the background of Anna Pavlina, and then we will start talking about the main topic of this episode. So let's start by her education. She stayed for 8 years in the UK, doing a lot of studies, starting with the bachelor's in psychology at the University of Kent, and then a master's also in psychology at the University of Nottingham. Then she did a doctorate or a PhD in sensory and cognitive neuroscience at the University of Essex, and that's where we met. We met there while I was doing my master's in economics. It was 10 years ago, actually. On the professional side, she has 2 backgrounds. One part is her background as a psychologist in the academic side. She's a lecturer and research coordinator at the European University of Cyprus, and also at the University of Nicosia. And then she complemented that with a coaching certification, and she's the founder of Springs Creations. She has her own company, and it's a company that provides online face-to-face education and personal development services to people, and also to organizations, I guess. And then recently, that's something very important, she co-authored a book with Jack Canfield, and this book is reached bestseller status very, very quickly. And based on this book, we will talk about the 6 steps that we will comment later. So welcome once again, Pavlina.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, we noticed you're a very busy person. You do a lot of activities, a lot of professional activities. And what I like about your profile is something I mentioned before, is that you're not only focused on psychology as a researcher, but also put in practice insights from that area to help people to improve their lives. So that's something I like very much about your profile. So then, in your book, you talk a bit about how you transcended an important stage in your life. And so trying to link that to your current role as an academic, can you explain a bit what research topics do you focus on right now?
Well, yes. I mean, I'm going to tell you in general what I've been working on and what my future directions are going to be. So I've focused a lot on the relationship between cognitions and emotions, which is a topic I really enjoy and I've been teaching. So how our thinking and perception and attention can affect the way we feel, but also how our emotions and our traits can affect the way we behave, we think, our attention, our perception. So it goes both ways. So I really like this topic a lot, and emotions in general and emotion regulation. And I also what I do also relates a lot to well-being. So I care a lot about helping people have higher well-being. And I'm interested a lot in positive psychology interventions too. I mean, I've been working on an intervention the past 5-6 years. It was a clinical trial, and it had aimed to increase the well-being of elderly Europeans. So that was a great experience. It's still ongoing. We're doing a lot, and we've done a lot regarding that. It's a European project, it's a huge project with a lot of funding. And I had the pleasure of being the research coordinator for Cyprus and to participate in most of the research activities and the coordination. The plan for me is to focus generally on positive psychology interventions because they can not only for elderly but for the whole population, and especially also for younger people, because they can affect and they can work towards having a greater well-being, increasing the well-being of people.
Wow, well-being, a very important topic right now. Especially, I think I don't know how everything went last year, because last year we had this pandemic for already more than a year. So,
Yeah.
so then during that time, did you collect data? Did you interview the people who have participated in the study, or all the data was already collected before the pandemic?
We did some investigation regarding COVID, even though the results are not fully out yet. But I mean, we still continued doing what we were doing for the big project I mentioned, the Sense Cook project, which is focusing on well-being of the elderly Europeans that have cognitive impairment problems, hearing problems, and vision problems. I mean, it's a big project that has to do also with the development of new research tools. I mean, it was, as I said, a great experience, and it is a great experience. We were lucky because our research activities were not stopped completely, especially here in Cyprus. So that was good. That it didn't stop us from moving forward. We kept going. So that was good, because I mean, people nowadays um, feel lonely, but I mean, being able to continue even in this way, offering to them, it's a big thing. So we're happy for that.
Great, great, and I'm happy that you could continue your research, because I know, because I also do research in my PhD. I actually planned to do a fieldwork last year, and it's postponed, and I don't know if I will ever do it. So I'm happy to hear that you continue your research, and the study is still ongoing, and I'm sure that it has a great impact, and I hope these tools can help also, like for the future, because that's something that's always on my mind, that especially after this pandemic, a lot of these tools have become more important than ever. So how to work in the mental well-being of people, and how to give tools to people, and I think more than ever people realize that. So people who are not usually into these topics, and the governments especially, they know that these tools are very important for people. And after Corona is behind, I think it's going to be very important to use these insights to help people to have a better well-being.
Definitely, definitely, because through the pandemic, the amount of people that are suffering from disorders has increased. So we have more anxiety, more depression. So now more than ever, these techniques and education and trainings and working on mental well-being, it's becoming more important, definitely.
Yeah, not only for the elderly, also for young people and for everybody. I
Yeah,
think it's very important, very important.
yeah, for people in general, definitely.
And now switching to your parallel, or your twin career, your twin project, let's say,
Yeah.
your work as a certified coach. I'm wondering, how do you combine your both works, your career as a researcher and doing coaching for people in organizations?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have done a certification in coaching, and I am an accredited coach now by the ICF. I have
Mm-hmm.
gained my ACC, and I'm moving towards my PCC now, which is the next step. And I mean, how does this relate? Someone would ask. And what I care a lot about is prevention. And I think that working on your personal development and professional development is a great way to help people not reach at the stage where they would develop more serious psychological problems. So by helping people move towards this direction and working on themselves, it can do a lot. So yeah, because I think for me it's very important to work on prevention. So doing things before people reach at the stage where they end up having serious psychological problems. So what can you do to prevent people reaching at this stage? So for me, this is the greatest thing I can do as a psychologist. So I think working on your personal development is great, and I want you to realize that personal development is not just about reaching goals. The things that happen when someone starts are great because people start working on themselves and loving themselves more. So many of my clients start working on their diet, start exercising after they enter the personal development world. So you can imagine that this has a great effect on your health and and your mental health. It's not just about, oh, I'm achieving goals. It's not just that, because in life coaching is, you see, it's a holistic process.
Wow, very insightful because I used to work in the government, and I remember when they talk about health in general and the health department, they have this concept of prevention in terms of physical health. And I don't know why, but it's the first time I kind of relate to that concept in terms of mental well-being in this case. I mean, working on your feelings and kind of starting identifying what's going on before something happens. So it's very interesting to me to relate to the same concept, but with regards to mental well-being. So thank you for that explanation. And I'm wondering now how you yourself kind of handle these both careers, the part of researcher and coach, because at least for myself, I also try to I do my research and I also have my own projects where I like this podcast. I want to give information to people so that they can improve their health. So it's kind of similar to what you do or how you combine your careers. And at least to me,
Yeah.
usually when I'm on research, it's a very mental process. So it's a lot on the mind. And sometimes, at least for me, I struggle to get out of my mind of thinking a lot when I'm actually not doing my research. So I'm wondering how you handle that the mental process or the mental burden of working research. Let's say you relate to that, and then working on as a coach where you need more skills like empathy, connecting, looking at people. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, all things are combined because I like all things, and
Hmm.
when you like what you're doing, you can find space, and you are really dedicated. And now, I mean, at the first look, maybe they seem that they cannot be related in a way, but I think in teaching, because I also teach, but
Hmm.
in research, when you have to do with people, you also need empathy. I mean, that makes you a
Hmm.
better researcher. You understand people better. You know how to connect with people and to be more human with them. It's not just when people come in research. In psychology, we deal with people. So the way you behave to them, it's also important. And I mean, in teaching, I mean, you have people in front of you. Being more empathetic as a lecturer again makes a difference, and I think it has a place in everything you do when your work has to do with people. So developing empathy, it's not just about being a psychologist. Empathy has a role in almost every job that has to do with interacting and communicating and just being more human, you know?
Would you say that that's the that's kind of learning to be being present? That's the key skill here.
Being present, being able to really listen, to actively listen, not just
Hmm.
listen, and while you listen you're thinking of other things, just waiting what to say after the person finishes. So giving some space and just being able to see the world from the viewpoint of the other person as well, being in their own position. And that's just not it's not just about work, it's also about building a better world and a more peaceful world. So empathy has a place in general. It's not just about working and jobs.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that. Yeah, and I think I will put it in practice. Yeah, I need to learn more how to actually, yeah, to do that. How to take the other person into consideration, because it happens to me all the time when especially right now when I'm working at home. So I'm doing something here in my office, and then I go to the kitchen where my wife or my daughter are. So then I like start to think, okay, now I'm here in the kitchen. My wife is here. Perhaps might want to talk to me. Perhaps there's something ongoing. So yeah, listening to my environment. I will try to do that. At least that's what I'm picking from what you're saying to apply it in my everyday life. Yeah, yeah. So thank you
Mhm.
for that explanation. So now switching to the book on success strategies.
Mhm.
That's the kind of the where we are basing our main topic for this episode. Can you explain a bit more about the background of the book? So, for instance, you co-authored the book with Jack Canfield. Can you explain first who is Jack Canfield for those who don't know?
Yeah, I mean, Jack Canfield is a very inspiring person. He has definitely inspired me. He's a trainer, he's a motivational speaker, he's a writer, he has co-authored so many books. So he's a very important figure when it comes to personal development, the personal development world. And most people that are into personal development around the world know him. So it was an inspiration, and I've read his books, so I knew him by his work and what he has written. So that's how I knew him.
And then you started to talk a bit about that he inspired you to participate, to kind of, he's an inspirational figure for you. And what else inspired you to actually put your input into this book?
Well, I wanted to spread a message because of an important story I had to share. So, I mean, I could have written a book on my own and share that story, but I mean, collaborating with an important figure that would spread the message. Um, I wanted to spread the message to as many people as possible and all over the world. So by having such a collaboration would increase the impact of the message I had to give. So that's why I thought that such a collaboration would be a great step.
Okay, okay. And then for sure, in the description of the episode, I will put a link to the book, and if people want to check it out, and perhaps if they want to buy it, they can read a bit more about this your story there, because I think you were very open in the book about your story, your journey of self discovery,
Mhm.
but just to give a little bit of an insight or some words about that. Can you briefly explain us a bit about how your personal story that kind of inspired what you put into this book?
Well, the journey of self discovery, I think, started even before that, before what happened. I mean, and it's shared in the book. I don't wanna just say too much about it because I'm gonna ruin it. But I just wanna take you back and just tell you a bit about how this self discovery started, because as far as I remember myself and going back, I remember really wanting to understand people and help them. So when somebody came, I mean, even when I was a teenager or even before, and told me they had a problem and they were not feeling okay, I didn't know how to help them. I mean, I felt kind of helpless in not knowing. So I remember me wishing I knew how to be of help to people, how to make them get over their pain. Okay, so I mean, of course, I realized over the years that the first person you need to help is yourself. First, you need to learn yourself and work on yourself as a first step before helping others, understanding yourself. And I want to also take you back to another important milestone when it came to the self discovery. When I was still a student, one of my teachers, she was a chemistry teacher, suggested to the class that we should read a book. And this book was called Live, Love, and Learn. It's a book by Leo Buscaglia. And this book, it was the first book I chose to read. by not by force. I chose to read it, and it was an amazing book that had changed not only my life, but made me realize that I wanted to become a psychologist, because I realized the impact that the book can have and the impact a person can have. Because in the book, you can find the lectures of Leo Buscaglia, who was an academic, and he was teaching the lesson of love to a university. So at the beginning, everybody was making fun of him, but at the end, this became the most popular class course of the university. So it's an amazing book, and it's such a big inspiration. And I felt when I was a teenager that I wanted to be of help. I wanted to do what he was doing, like changing lives, motivating people, inspiring people. So this was, I think, what started this journey.
Okay, okay. And do you think that, I mean, it's very obvious, but do you think that you found a sense of purpose on this when this journey started and when you experienced later some things in life? Do you feel that that's your life purpose? To help people to overcome their pains, inspire them? Do you see
Yeah,
that as your life purpose?
yeah, definitely. I think whatever I do relates and comes down to that, because I want people to live happy lives. I want them to go after their dreams. I want to create a better version of themselves, and just be here and enjoy this gift that life is.
Okay, okay, that's great, and I think we will lead to people when they want to check out the book. You give a lot of insights there, and then you talk a bit more about how these experiences led you towards wanting to learn more about psychology and to do research about that and how to learn or master self-regulation techniques and how to teach them to people. So we encourage people to check the book out and learn more about these aspects that Pavlina is mentioning. So now, going straight to the six steps that we want to leave people so they can put in practice in their lives each of these steps to live a healthier and happy life. So we will go through all these steps. So there's, let's start first. Let's go for the first step. Which one will it be, Paulina?
Mhm. So one of the steps I included was to add creativity in your life, and that would mean being creative in any way. Also, you can add the creative arts in your life, like singing, playing the guitar, painting. And what the importance of this is that it can convert feelings. It can take your negativity and shift it to positivity. You can let things out. It's like catharsis. So you can convert what's not going right to creation, and that's an amazing thing. And I mean, for every person, I mean, it doesn't need to be painting. It just maybe creating, building something. I mean, just creation is in our nature, and it's just everybody can do it. I mean, it's just you need to search a bit and find what's right for you.
Okay, and in which kind of tip would you give to people to identify that? Because I think you said that it is for everybody, but I will say that it's not easy for everybody to identify and go towards these tools. Like, which tip would you give to trigger this process of creativity?
Yeah, you need to try out things. I mean, it's not, I
Mhm.
mean, sometimes for some people it's easier because they have tried things while growing up and their parents were open for them to experiment. But I mean, that doesn't mean that if you haven't gone through this process that you cannot do it when you're an adult and try things out and see. I mean, if you go back and remember what you liked when you were a kid, things will come up, but we just push them away. We forget through the routine and the obligations and all that. But I mean, it can give you a lot by having it in your life, especially when it comes to your mental health.
Okay, okay. And then I remember now that you say that you actually your kind of creativity tool is music, right? That you like you love creating music.
I write lyrics, and I have written music as well. I like singing. I like playing, and I have been painting. I was thinking to go and study arts, to be honest, before
Wow.
choosing psychology in the end. So I have this creative side of myself, and I love dance as well. So I mean, it doesn't need to be these things, though. I mean,
Okay, okay.
everybody has some bit of a creative side, I think.
Okay, okay. And then just for people, I think I don't know you would like to share that. Perhaps we can put in the description also your YouTube. You do have a YouTube channel, right? And you put music there. I think you have
I
some
have
songs
some
there.
creations, yes.
So I mean, if you want, we can share it there, and then people can check and perhaps get inspired by how you express yourself through music. I think that would be something that can tell a lot for somebody who wants to get digging into the creativity. So then,
Yeah.
switching to step number two to a healthier and happy life, which one will it be?
Yeah, the second step I mentioned and I would like to share is faulty beliefs, limiting beliefs. So, I mean, beliefs play a big role in psychopathology as well. So, according to Beck's and cognitive therapy, cognitive psychology, if we have beliefs that are not helping us, this can lead to psychopathology. Okay, but I mean, in coaching, we don't need to reach that step. And we think that a lot of times when we have goals, when we want to achieve things, create something new, or going after a big dream, what's stopping us many times is our limiting beliefs. Believe that I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have money, I'm not wealthy. I mean, things that maybe you've heard other people saying, people stopping you from doing what you wish. Growing up, you might have heard them. So these many times are stopping you from going after something you really love. Okay, and many times what's what's in the way for going after what we want is our own self. So we want to make yourself an ally and not an obstacle. So that, I mean, I say it all the time, that how much it works and how it changes people's lives when they work and they go deep and change these things.
Okay, okay. And which are the usual techniques or tools that people use to kind of dig deeper and identify which are the beliefs that are holding them back? Would you give us a few examples, or how can people go
Well,
through
I mean,
the
through
process?
coaching, you can identify beliefs. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
by doing the techniques of powerful questioning, and I mean, they're not
Powerful
gonna come
questioning.
up at the beginning, because I mean, it takes some time and going a bit deeper and just realizing and learning yourself. But they usually come up. Okay, and I mean, of course, you can identify limiting beliefs through therapy, and I mean, cognitive behavioral therapy works a lot with beliefs. So, I mean, through the work of yourself, these things usually come up. The more aware you become.
Okay. And I guess if somebody feels stuck in something, perhaps that's a clue, right? To have a look if there is some belief that is stopping them from advancing in life in that specific area where they feel stuck. Am I correct?
Yeah, usually when something in your life is not working, many times there a limiting belief. So limiting belief is that if you don't come from a rich family, you won't be able to become rich.
Mm, okay,
Okay,
okay.
or in order to get money you need to work really really hard all the time. Okay, so I mean, it relates to how we grew up, what things were said to us, what friends said, maybe teachers, maybe a
Wow.
traumatic experience might have created faulty beliefs, limiting beliefs. Okay, so
Okay,
maybe
okay,
you
okay.
were in a relationship and it was really hurtful, and then you think that love hurts and you stop yourself from entering another relationship. So, I mean, it can affect every area of our life.
Yeah. It's very interesting because usually, for instance, if I took an area where I'm stuck or where there's something that is not flowing, let's say, I will focus first on the physical aspects or the direct aspects. Perhaps, I mean, I'm not saving. Perhaps I'm spending a lot of money. So you will think about those things first, and not have a look at perhaps what's going on, what's in the backpack there that is perhaps is in the mind that is kind of stopping you. Besides these specific or direct aspects. So thank you
Mhm.
for adding that. And then switching to step number three to live a healthier and happier life. So which one would it be?
Well, I think the next step I want to mention is having add ways to increase relaxation in your life. There are relaxation techniques, breathing techniques, and that can help a lot because it can decrease stress. I mean, being stressed and anxious relates a lot to our breathing. So managing to take control of our breath can calm us ourselves down. So by breathing slowly and focusing on the breath and all that, it can shift the way we feel. And by shifting the way we feel, I mean, that changes a lot because it affects also our attention if we're stressed or calm. So when we're stressed, we're looking for danger all the time to protect ourselves. But when we're more calm, we our attention broadens, so we see opportunities. It just makes us also more creative. I mean, it has a lot of benefit for ourselves. So by doing that, it just shifts the way we say things. So it's important to have and add something like that in your life.
Okay, okay. And then it can be something that you can apply. I mean, in the morning, something you can apply. It's a
Definitely.
constant practice, or
Some people do it in the morning, some people do it also before going to bed, especially if they have difficulty sleeping. You can do a
mm,
breathing technique so that you calm your mind and you sleep um, in an easier way. So it depends on the person.
okay, exactly. I was thinking of that. That it depends. For instance, I'm a morning person. I prefer to do it in the morning. That's these days I actually struggle a bit sometimes, especially when I didn't have a good night's sleep because my daughter woke up continuously, and then it's a bit bothering, let's say. So then sometimes in the morning I struggle, for instance, to do my daily meditation practice. I go those moments I go more easily straight to the phone, for instance. So I
Mhm.
don't know, I don't know you kind of understand this process, but sometimes it's tricky to me when wake up sleepy because of those situations. It's easy for me to go towards the phone or social media or something like that instead of my daily meditation. So at least to me, it's kind of my practice. It's my practice to put it in place in the morning. And then, will you have any example of or perhaps in your website? Do you have some other tools in this area that people can check out?
I have some one or two techniques in my YouTube channel just for people to get an idea what this is, like present moment exercise or like
Okay.
slow breathing. So I mean,
Yeah,
mhm.
for sure. I think now for sure we will share your YouTube channel in the description. Now going towards the step number four, which one will it be?
Yeah, I also added that it's important to listen to ourselves and our intuition to avoid getting into situations and staying into situations for too long that are not working for us and are not for us, because we do have the answers inside of us and we do have this mechanism of warning us, like our gut instinct and our like we know things many times, but we just don't listen to that voice. And I mean, it's easy. I mean, when you run and you're stressed and you're too busy to not listen, but when you quiet yourself and you become more calm, the answers float, they come up, they come to the surface. So I think it can save us from a lot of trouble if we do listen to ourselves and our needs and wants and desires.
Okay. And how can we differentiate between the voice of our intuition and perhaps thoughts or other voices in ourselves?
Well, I mean, it's a voice that wants to get us to our better version, let's say, to our development, to our um, greater self, evolved self. I mean, usually fear, the voice of fear just wants us to stay somewhere and just be okay with the routine and just it being in our comfort zone.
Comfort zone, yeah.
So I think that might make sense for some people.
Okay, okay, okay. Will be some also this voice will be also something that when you think about it, perhaps it leads you towards something that it feels not uh, completely easy to do, but it's something that calms you or feels right. Let's say,
Tell me again.
like for instance, if this voice, let's say that is talking to you about doing something that is in your best good, for instance, and then when you think about it and then you dig deeper a bit in the process and what this voice is telling you, let's say if there is something there, if you have some words there, would it be you to identify that and be sure that that's your inner voice? Would it be something that when you think about it, it feels right? It gives you peace?
Yeah, it makes you feel good, it gives you peace without saying that you won't get out of your comfort zone, and this might give, because you might be doing something new, so that might make you feel a bit, scared.
Okay,
But I mean, scared in a good way. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna evolve, and I'm just gonna go closer to my vision and my life purpose and my goal here in life, rather just staying stuck and not doing anything about it, and I'm okay with life
mhm.
and just continuing being, just
Okay,
stuck.
okay. And then based on what you're saying, I have the feeling that in order to kind of be better in mastering to listening to your inner voice, I have the feeling that you also need to know where you are going, right? To know what's your vision in life, what you want to reach, which things you have to overcome. So I think if you kind of have a more educated notion of that, I think that helps, right? To really use that information towards some aim.
It can help, but also I guess at some point listening to that voice can give you information on where to go when this vision is not clear. So, I mean, I heard people saying to me, I can't hear my inner voice, I can't hear my intuition, I don't know, I mean, I don't have it. And I mean, it's because they were in a place where they lost themselves and they were really stressed, or they were really in a phase where they didn't care about themselves. And when they started shifting that and just listening and taking time to rest and taking time to calm down, they started hearing this voice that we all have inside.
Okay, okay,
And it's
okay.
just guidance.
Okay, okay. Regardless of how positioned you are in terms of where you are going, or in any case, yeah, if you kind of work on yourself, you will be better able to
to
listen to
hear
that.
to
Okay,
hear
okay, to
Yeah.
hear it. Okay, great, great, great. So just to remind people who are watching this, we are talking about 6 steps towards a healthier and happier life, and now we're reaching step number 4. So which will be step number 4?
um
Oh, I think it's step 5.
yeah, I think it's step 5 as
Step
well. So
five. Wow, we are moving forward. Yeah, let's go for step number 5.
yeah, so I think in that next step I will mention the writing down your
Mhm.
goals, and making a plan, because that helps you stay focused. It helps you have the things you want to do stay in your mind, and it gives you a higher chance of doing them by noting them down. It's one thing to talk about them, but by writing them down, we see that this increases your chance of just following through the plan and doing what you want to do. So it's important to have this, to get into the habit of programming yourself, because
Okay.
whatever we think, whatever we have in our head, it just drives your attention. So by having what you want to do activated, it will make you look for them. It will make you drive towards them. So it just changes the way you will behave by having this habit. So also in personal development, we have people write down things a lot, and also with my students, I know that when we do trainings, teachings and stuff, by having them activate that part as well, taking notes, writing things down, and not only participating or listening, having all that, it's just increase your chance of remembering things. So if you have important goals in life, you want to remember them. You want to be
Okay.
focused. So it changes your focus. It shifts your focus. And in order to succeed, you need to have focus.
Okay, okay. So it's somehow some way of giving instructions to ourselves, like when they
Yeah.
are written, like ah.
Instead of just getting random instructions and just letting your mind do whatever, you just program.
Wow, wow. It make me realize that we are kind of we have programs there that need to instructions to see where we are moving. What's the next step? What's the yeah? What's instruction that we need to follow? I like this one because it's great how we are evolving in terms of the steps. So we started with creativity, then working on your release, then practice of relaxation, working on yourself, meditation, and then we talked about intuition, but then this one is it comes to on the other side on the practical aspect, and so and it's not that it's better, but I think it complements greatly the other steps that we mentioned, and I particularly like that. I usually have planning in my everyday life. I usually plan my month. I plan my
Mhm.
main goals in the month. Then I plan my every week. I do my planning of the week. Then on that day, I do my daily planning, and I do that for my work and also for my own goals and my dreams. And I actually I like astrology. I don't know if you are into that, but for instance, they say that every new moon there is a new moon phase, like every month. So they recommend to do your goals for the coming 6 months on that day. So I like to do that also for that.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's I like this tool. I like it. And then going towards the last
Good.
step, step number 6, which one will it be?
Um, yeah, I think another important step is celebrating your successes. And why I've put that in there is because many times we just not take time to say a well done to ourselves.
Mm.
We just reach a goal, and instead of taking time to celebrate that, to enjoy it with our friends and family, and just take time to congratulate with ourselves, we just put the next goal and the next goal and the next goal, and we don't realize how much we're achieving. We're just focusing on what is missing, what we haven't done yet, and we're just beating up ourselves
Mm.
instead of just taking time to see how great we are and how much progress we've done and how much we've moved. So I think that's a very important thing to increase our happiness
Okay,
and
okay.
the relationship we have with ourselves.
Is the mechanism like does the mechanism resembles giving you a rewarding yourself? You're
Yeah.
kind of okay, okay, okay. And even for the smallest thing, it can be anything you achieve, or just for the big goals.
Well, it can be anything that's important for you. I mean,
Okay.
who defines what's a big or a small goal? I mean, for some people, managing to go out and walk for 15 minutes every day, it can be a huge goal. I mean,
Okay, okay.
if they couldn't do it, and they tried and tried and they failed. I mean, managing to get out, just walk and just take time for you to care about themselves. That can be a huge goal. So a well done needs to be shared and said.
Okay, okay. And do you think that it can help, for instance, to have someone like a body? It can be your partner, it can be a friend who can help you to remember, to congratulate yourself, to reward yourself.
Well, definitely accountability can help. But I mean, slowly it's good to build a habit and to remember that, okay, I achieved this. Let me not just run, but just take some time to contemplate and remember the journey and what I achieved, and just go out maybe, or just, I don't know, buy myself a lunch or something, or a dinner. Just just take time to
Yeah,
enjoy the progress, yeah, and the
yeah, yeah.
the
My wife
journey.
and I will, yeah. Okay, okay. My wife and I will try to do it, and I ask you because she actually, we help each other to remember to celebrate when we achieve
Okay,
something.
great.
So yeah, we try to do it, and it can be just drinking like a non-alcoholic beer in the night, or something like that, or yeah, baking a cake. Now we are at home every day, so yeah, yeah, we try to do those things usually. Yeah, it is great to be give this advice to people.
Very good.
So now we reach the last one, which is about celebrating successes, even the smallest or the biggest, and it's up to people to decide what's important to them. They just forgetting about the size, but then in general, something that is meaningful to you, it's important to celebrate it. So I noticed that this is not part of the steps that you have in the book. And now, if people want to check, there are 12, right? 12 or 13? I don't recall the number. I think in total there are like 12 or 13, let's say.
Yeah.
And yeah, so people want to check that the full list is there in the book. I will once again I will leave in the description the link to the book, because there is a whole set of steps there, and people can check them out, and also what other people contributed as co-authors there.
Yeah, I think
You want
they're
to say something?
15. I think they're
15. Wow,
15. I think.
it's
I
a
think.
it's a it's an uncommon number. Usually people say 5, 10, but now 15. That's a very innovative number.
It's my
Nice.
lucky number, that's why.
Oh really? Wow. Nice that you make it fit into that. So then outside of that, I think I want to have like an additional, let's say it's an additional trick or tip to people outside of the book. I noticed that as part of your practice of helping people, you use this concept of living by design. I hope you know where I'm going, because you will focus a lot on this. So how to live by design to achieve your goals or dreams, and that's a concept that I like. And I mean I haven't follow any teaching from somebody to use it, but it's something I am interested in. Uh, for people who don't know about it, can you explain a bit more about how this process works, and how you guide people in that process of living by design?
Yeah, actually, that relates back to one of the steps as well, which is, um, I mean, we're talking about life design now, and that would be, as a term, imagining where you want to go, having a vision, and then just building the steps to go and create it, removing barriers, removing limiting beliefs, keep visualizing where you want to go, and just step by step getting closer to that vision, to that the life you designed. So I
Hmm.
don't know if it makes sense the way I explained it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah, yeah. And actually, it reminds me actually of something I practiced before. It's not the full process, but I'm actually following this course on finance, and it is not to have better finances in terms of saving and spending less. It also has incorporates an inner work, working exactly what you're saying, working on your beliefs, what's holding you back, which are your family beliefs in terms with regards to money and all that. And then I remember one of the tools we use. It was like a chart where you kind of design there 5 steps or five. It was like 5 life stages, let's say. So like stage one is where you are right now, and then stage two is this one, and then you have the ultimate, which is the fifth one, to how you envision your life. And it was everything. What do you see in that life? What you have? what you do, what you feel. So it actually helps because it helps you to aim for the next step and then the next step. I think for at least to me it was very practical. Do you think that this fits into this concept of designing your
Definitely.
life?
Definitely. I mean, you can build and you can design where you want to go, and then you build smaller steps, because obviously, when you think about the end goal, maybe it seems too big, or I mean, you make someone feel that I will never go there. But if you break it down in smaller steps, that make it easier to see, easier to reach, and that helps people a lot. And I mean, also that when you were mentioning, I mean, the inner work that you need to do, it's also working with your own feelings, because feelings can also get in the way. I mean, when you're stressed or sad or anxious all the time or angry, I mean, that your emotional state is not helping you work for that goal. So
Mm.
another thing you do, apart from removing the barriers and the limiting beliefs and becoming creative, it's just working with these feelings to shift them from negative to positive.
Okay.
So to take you there, to take you to the end goal faster. So yeah,
It totally makes sense to me. I think actually other tools or other tricks they give you in this course, I link to that, and actually I resemble a bit the steps we gave before, because for instance they frame it as working on your freedoms or your areas of freedom. Like if you, for instance, you don't feel free to rest, for instance, like people who work a lot and they never stop and they think they want to make it perfect. So those people usually struggle to make stops or pauses, to eat, to sleep, like the basic life things. And for instance, for myself, sometimes when I'm doing a lot of things, I think I tend to be more reactive to things. Like when I'm listening to a podcast and I'm washing the dishes and something like that, then I'm in a more reactive state if somebody wants to talk to me. So then they recommend, for instance, going for walks in the nature. That's good for easing yourself, relaxing yourself, focus on the moment. So I think they give tricks on that direction of working with your basic feelings on how you feel on a everyday basis, which in this case is linked to which freedom you are not giving yourself, like freedom to rest, freedom to enjoy life, freedom to. I don't remember exactly the names, but I think it kind of
yeah,
remembers to me what you said with regards to that. So thank you for all this information so far, for all this inspiration so far. I think you already helped me to understand my process and what I'm doing, and kind of give me some tricks. So I hope others are also relating and finding this insightful for putting something into practice in their lives. So now it comes time to close this episode with the closing questions we do give to everybody. It's the first time we also are asking these questions in English. So let's. I hope it works. So so the first question, Pavlina, is if you have the power to create a policy, a law, or uh, or such program to improve the physical, mental, or emotional health of the population in general of a country or world, which one will it be and why? And just consider that for in order to come up with this, you have unlimited resources. All stakeholders are in your favor, and then you also have organizations and that can cooperate with you to make this happen.
I would add in every single school a class on personal development, self development, where people would work on their emotions, would understand their emotions, they would understand themselves, because we don't come with a manual. And I think, I mean, in some schools, maybe they're adding this and there is work being done, but there's a lot we can do still to incorporate it in education. So I think the earlier we start, the better it's going to be, and the better our world is going to be by working on this specific area.
Okay, great. And as we mentioned before, I think now more than ever, yeah, these type of tools are very important, yeah, for our children in this case. And I believe that we are in the best moment to do it. People are aware how these aspects can get in our way, or can, in this case, help us to be better beings, let's say. So I hope somebody in the government or in other places are listening to this, because I think this is very important to put in place, and especially at this stage where we are right now with all the pandemic and all that is ongoing, and how our children are struggling a lot, because at least for instance in Mexico, children are doing online education, and I know that's not what they like and things like that. And yeah, I just hope that this is getting is put in place. So thank you for this suggestion. And then question number two. So I hope the translation is good, but this podcast is called the Health Spokesman, and because I strongly believe that in our times, so information is now has been democratized, and is in people have access to information more than ever. It doesn't belong only to a few people. So now there's people like you who can leave a message to others to improve an aspect of their health in general. So what I want to ask you is to which motivational message or practical advice would you give to people who are listening this, about something they can do, even if it's something little, to start having a positive changes in any aspect of their health.
Actually, I would invite people to start working on themselves and just giving this gift to them, because we buy so many things, but we forget to just give to ourselves the time it needs, and the attention it needs. So I think by someone experiencing what it means to work on themselves and loving themselves and working on their self-care and self-love and going after their dreams, it can be the greatest thing, the greatest gift you can give to yourself. So I would invite them to try it.
Okay, okay. So thank you for that, and hope others are encouraged to work towards their dreams. I believe you are one of those persons who actually has aimed uh, towards your dreams, and I hope you achieve yours. And I have the same hopes for me as well. So the same for that. And with that being said, I would like to thank you for all this information. And I don't want to go without asking you to share with others, where can people connect with you? How can people get in contact with you and know your services and things that you do?
Yeah, definitely. People can find me on Instagram. I think the name there is Dr. Dot Anna Pavlina Charalambous, my full name. And they can find me on Facebook with my full name. But I mean, I also have a website, which is www.springsofcreation.com. And they can find details about me there, and also there is a connection to my social media as well.
Okay, okay. And I will be sure to put those in the description of the episode. And once again, I would like to thank you. Thank you for being I don't know how you call it, like the starter or the first person which has participated in an English episode. So I would like to thank you for being that power woman who has helped me to start this journey. Let's hope that there are more English episodes later with other people as interesting as you. So thank you very much, Ana Paulina.
It has been a pleasure, and thank you again for the invite.
Bien, espero que hayas disfrutado este episodio. Si te gustó, compártelo con quien consideres que le pueda servir de inspiración para transformar su vida. Si quieres seguir mi contenido, recuerda suscribirte a este podcast, El Voceo de la Salud, que está disponible en Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Igualmente, suscríbete a mi canal de YouTube o dale like a mi página de Facebook, donde me encuentras como Marcos Domínguez. Por esta ocasión me despido y los invito a mover al mundo en una dirección más saludable.